If you do catch your child masturbating, I think first immediately leave the room. Tell the child that please don't feel guilty about it. Hi, I'm Anju Kish, sex educator and founder Untaboo. And today we are here to have the talk. We're here to bust some myths and help parents empower their child with positive sex education. Children don't know what sex is. We need sex education only in high school. If I can say a big ha-ha to this. So when I go to schools, second graders ask me what is 69. Sixth graders tell me that, the glass of milk that the brides give their husband on the wedding night, does it have Viagra in it? And here we think that we should not be talking to a 16-year-old about sex. So this is something to think about.
One of our readers asked, is there a right age for sex education?
So the earlier you talk to them, the better. And when I say early, it can be as early as 2 years. And the education that you give both boys and girls is more or less the same. Start talking to them about bodies, about giving them the right terms for their genitals, teaching them consent, privacy, boundaries, and all of this before they turn 5. But if you haven't started talking to them even when they are like 13 and 14, please don't feel that it's too late now. When kids start puberty actually begins with the onset of production of the sex hormones. So sexual feelings begin for a child, though they may not understand that those feelings are sexual. And sometimes touching the genitals is just a feel-good feeling. It's just like somebody massaging your head or giving you a shoulder rub. I know for a parent, seeing the child exhibit a sexual behavior might be alarm bells ringing in the parent's mind and oh my God, what's happening and why is it happening to my child? Don't make the child feel guilty about it. Don't point out the behavior to the child, but just distract the child. And if you find that this behavior is repeating itself, do have a conversation with the child about private acts and public acts and continue having those conversations. School should handle sex ed. It's too awkward for parents to do so. Really? It doesn't matter if you find it awkward. If you're awkward, call out your awkwardness. Children love vulnerability in parents. Tell your child that, hey, you know what? I'm awkward to have this conversation, but I think it's important to have this conversation. So for example, if a little child asks you, if a 4 or 5-year-old asks you, what are sanitary pads? Please don't tell them that they're adult diapers. Give them the right information. Tell them that they are known as sanitary pads. So mama has this baby bag inside of her, and when there's no baby in that, it needs a monthly cleaning. And there's a little bit of blood and tissue which comes out of it every month, and to soak up that blood and tissue, the mama needs to wear a sanitary pad. Now as they grow older, then you can add more information to this foundation that you have laid for this child and then talk to them about the fact. You don't need to give the full information at the time the question is asked. Sex education will corrupt children's mind. Well, without any sex education, children's mind are already corrupted today with the kind of exposure that they have. But let me tell you that education never takes away innocence. The only thing it takes away is ignorance. Masturbation is an unhealthy and perverse habit. If you maintain privacy, if you maintain hygienic practices, and if you do it in moderation, it is a great way to expel sexual energy for growing children and even adults for that matter. It's a great way for them to learn about their bodies and their pleasure points and then convey it to their partners. It does not involve a third party or a second party. It does not involve pregnancy. It does not lead to STIs. So what better than that?
But what is a way that parents can approach this conversation about masturbation?
Unfortunately, masturbation is an even more taboo subject than sex, because that for them appears like encouraging their child to indulge in a sexual activity. So I think first and foremost, we parents should remove those, unblock those mind blocks from our head that masturbation is not an activity to be indulged in. If you do catch your child masturbating, I think first immediately leave the room. And after that, have a conversation with the child sooner than later. Apologize to the child for invading their privacy. Tell the child that please don't feel guilty about it. What you were doing is nothing to feel guilty about. Kids will learn about reproduction in school. What is the need for separate sex education? Sex education is not just about reproduction. This term sex education is a misleading term. Don't be fooled by it. It's not a talk on sex and reproduction alone. So when we say sex education, it's an umbrella term, and under it are hundreds of topics, beginning from anatomy, puberty, boundaries, consent, safe practices, relationships, crushes, healthy relationships, healthy breakups, changing relationship with parents, changing relationship with peers. All of this comes under sex education. And all of this, unfortunately, is not taught in school. And when reproduction is taught in school, it is just one chapter in a biology textbook. At a lot of times, it is skipped by the teacher, unfortunately also. So it's a very, very incomplete education, and just leaving it to that one chapter in the biology textbook is not sex education.
If a child came up to you and said, "Where do babies come from?" what would you say?
Depends on how old my child is.
So let's say the child is 4.
All mamas have a little baby bag, and there's a seed in that baby bag, and you grew from there.
And if I now turned 7?
So remember, mama said that there's a baby bag and there's a seed in that baby bag. Well, there's another seed which is there in papa's body, and when that seed, merges with mama's seed, then a baby grows from there, and that's how you look like your dad.
And now I'm 12.
Well, remember when you were small, I told you about the fact that there's a seed in mama's baby bag, and then papa gives, his seeds, and it merges with mama's seed. Have you ever wondered how that seed merged? Did you ever think about it? Well, it merges through a process known as sex. So let me tell you what sex is all about. If parents talk to their children about sex, the children will lose respect for them. I would say to the contrary. If you talk to your child about sex, trust me, they will respect you more for it. They are looking for guidance. They are looking for answers. They are so confused. And if in midst of all this, you start talking to them about sex and related topics, trust me, they would love the fact that they have an askable adult they can turn to. So if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Tweak India.